Said it's very Tim Tebow, but he can actually play. I don't think Shedeur Sanders is a bad kid. I think he's a little immature, a little silly for my taste, but I think he's got real talent. And I think he was underdrafted in the 5th round. I said, at worst, late 2nd. I think he can play. I think he's big enough, accurate enough, mobile enough. I think you can win games with Shedeur. I'm not saying he's a great franchise guy, but I think Cleveland the last couple of years has aced the draft, and I think they're going to win games this year. Not 2 or 3, 6, 7, or 8. I really believe that. I think they have really good players. They have here's Andrew Barry on Shedeur's off-season development. Listen to this.
He's had an excellent spring, Anthony. I mean, the past 8 to 10 weeks, and really probably beyond that, really the past 6 months with, as a rookie player, and particularly a quarterback, you learn a lot your first year, and especially if you don't start a full season, start 6, 7, or I guess you start 7 games, and you kind of go through the year. It's adjustment going to the NFL, and then you get a chance to catch your breath and say, okay, well, here are the things I need to work on. Here are the things I need to learn. And I think he did a phenomenal job this offseason.
You know what also did him a disservice, Shedeur? His dad. Deion Sanders, here's what we know. He's a great all-time NFL player, a pretty good Major League Baseball player, a so-so head coach, and a terrible agent. During Super Bowl week, he cut it up with a lot of hosts, and the overwhelming sentiment was, I don't want my kids playing for some of these lousy teams. The problem, of course, is the lousy teams are the ones that need a quarterback. So he alienated, dad did, and dads can do this with their athletic sons. He alienated many of the teams that were interested. Reportedly, some team took him off their board that needed a quarterback. So Todd Marinovich's dad, there's an argument. He did his son no favors. Alonzo Ball acknowledges his dad forced him to wear the Big Baller brand shoes. And I read a quote this morning. He goes, to be honest with you, I think one of the reasons I suffered so many rookie injuries was the shoes. I never got hurt until I started wearing them. Lonzo Ball's words, not mine. So I think Deion at the Super Bowl was glib and funny and entertaining, but I think he alienated people. And I think Shedeur can play. It's a hill I'm going to die on. I think he was underdrafted. And listen, sometimes you miss. Brock Purdy, 7th round. Brock can play. Do I think Brock has great traits, size, art? No. And I don't think Shedeur does either.
All right, let's talk about Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns, because the discourse around this kid is honestly exhausting. It feels like Colin Cowherd just cannot make up his mind about Shedeur. One week he's completely out, declaring he's off the bandwagon. I think that was right around the time of the speeding ticket situation. He was like, that's it, I'm done, I've officially moved off of Shedeur. And now, all of a sudden, he's back on the train, telling everyone, listen, I'm telling you guys, Shedeur can play. I'm going to die on this hill. And I'm sitting here thinking, are you really? Because based on the flip-flopping, it seems like you might say you'll die on that hill, but you're just going to casually stroll right off it when the wind changes. It's a roller coaster with this guy, and I'm not sure I'm here for the ride. But before I dive into the meat of this, I gotta do my due diligence. Cleveland Browns fans, please, I'm begging you, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and make sure you watch the full video. When you guys do that, the views go through the roof, the subscriber count goes through the roof. And let me be clear, this isn't about chasing numbers for the sake of numbers. It's not about vanity metrics. It's about being able to create the kind of Cleveland Browns content that people genuinely want to engage with, watch, and discuss. Our goal is to keep having the most unbiased, grounded, and honest conversations about this franchise, and watching the full length of the video makes a massive difference. I would seriously appreciate the support. So, anyway, I was laughing earlier because Colin was also saying something like, yeah, I think the Browns are going to win some games this year. And then he threw out the number 6 or 7 wins. And I'm just thinking, okay, well, I certainly hope they're better than that. If Shedeur is showing phenomenal growth and the front office has been knocking the draft out of the park for the last few seasons, then shouldn't they be winning more than 6 games? Like, that's the baseline expectation, isn't it? This is where the conversation around the Browns always drives me up the wall. Because then Colin will turn around and say, hey, get this, listen to what they're saying about Shedeur. His growth has been phenomenal. And my immediate reaction is, yeah, no kidding. The Browns general manager said that. What do you think he's going to say? Is he going to come out and say, you know what, Shedeur has really been struggling these last 5 or 6 months? It's been a real mess, but we'll see what happens? Of course not. He's going to pump up his guy. It's the same reason you hear about how much growth guys like J.J. McCarthy are showing. Oh, he's been putting in so much work, his accuracy is getting so much better, it's a real quarterback competition with Kyler Murray. It's the same script, just a different name on the jersey. These conversations just make me chuckle. It's always so obvious when there isn't a real story to tell. There's no actual reason to have a deep, analytical conversation. And look, I want to be fair here. This isn't me calling Colin out like, why do you do this? It's just my observation. Certain stories and certain segments just land a certain way. It's June. We want to talk about football. We want to talk about these teams, but there's not really much substantial to talk about. So, we fill the air with whatever we can. It's exactly like what happened yesterday with the Los Angeles Rams. NFL Live was like, oh my gosh, Sean McVay canceled the 2 days of mandatory minicamp. What does this mean? What does this mean? And the answer was, it means absolutely nothing. It means less than nothing. And again, I respect it. I appreciate it because you have to create these stories to fill the time. But it's the same thing with this whole Shedeur has had phenomenal growth narrative. It's like, buckle up, baby, here we go. Meanwhile, there's all this momentum building for Deshaun Watson to actually be the starter. And to be clear, I have no prediction either way. I have no bias in either direction. Honestly, I'm just excited to watch the Cleveland Browns because I'm curious to see what this whole thing looks like. In fact, I'm genuinely excited to watch pretty much every team this season, except for maybe 1 or 2. This year feels like we're reaching a peak where every single team has something interesting going on. Every game is worth checking in on because there are so many compelling storylines and developments across the league. You have to see who Shedeur Sanders is. You have to see who Cam Ward is. What are the Chargers doing with Mike McDaniel? How are the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes going to bounce back? What do the Eagles look like with their new offensive scheme? Year 2 for Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams in Chicago. It's everywhere you look. The New York Jets and Geno Smith, I'm fascinated to see what that looks like. Malik Willis in Miami? Bring it on. Aaron Rodgers in what could be his final year. The Steelers, Lamar Jackson, and the new-look Ravens offense, Joe Burrow and the Bengals who are supposed to finally have a legitimate defense this time around. I'm excited to see it all. And here's the thing, none of these stories need to be forced. None of these narratives need to be manufactured for me to be interested in them. The intrigue is already there organically. So, I really think we need to move on from the whole draft day narrative. We need to move on from the Deion Sanders aspect of it. Shedeur is in the NFL. He's incredibly popular. He's a quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, competing to be the starter. That's it. That's all we have to leave it at. We don't have to keep going back to the draft and revisiting whether he was overdrafted or underdrafted. None of that matters anymore. It's one of those things I realized a little late to the game, just how obsessed people are with draft order. Even years after it's all said and done. Look at Colin still bringing up Brock Purdy and mentioning he was a 7th-round pick. I just don't think about that at all. The draft order, once you're in the NFL, means nothing to me. It means absolutely nothing. I'm not the guy who says, oh wow, can you believe this guy is a 3rd-round pick? Or, oh, Puka Nacua was a 5th-rounder or wherever he was drafted. I don't care. He's in the NFL. He's balling. He's playing. At this point, I could not care less where you were drafted. It means nothing to me. Absolutely nothing. 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 Yet, it's still brought up so heavily because people are still viewing everything through that lens. Dude, this guy only played for North Dakota State. I don't care. That was 5 years ago. What does that have to do with anything right now? It doesn't matter. He's in his 3rd year in the NFL. I don't care where he went to college. I don't care who his college coach was. I don't care how popular he was in high school. None of it matters to me. He's in his third year. He plays for the Miami Dolphins right now. I'm telling you right now, where Shedeur Sanders was drafted does not matter. He has an opportunity. He's in front of the coaches. He's on a team. He's wearing a jersey. He's got his name on the back. He has a chance. And look, I know someone will try to undercut that take by saying, well, in the NFL, if you're a second-round pick versus a fifth-round pick, teams will give you more chances. That's true. I concede that. A safety drafted in the sixth round will absolutely get fewer opportunities than an offensive tackle drafted in the first. I 100% grant that. But Shedeur Sanders transcends all of that. He's a quarterback. He's incredibly popular. He will be given lots of opportunities, regardless of where he was picked. He's literally on the field practicing right now, trying to earn the job. Here's how I know what I'm saying is correct. Look at all the conversations surrounding Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy. It's all X's and O's. What can each quarterback bring to the offense? What is Kevin O'Connell saying? What is Justin Jefferson saying? It's very specific football talk. But with Shedeur, we're still talking about the draft and Deion Sanders. We're talking about his popularity. We're talking about how he beat out Tom Brady in jersey sales. We're talking about the GM saying his growth has been phenomenal, and I'm just like, okay, what does that even actually mean right now? The truth is, we still have to wait. We actually have to see legitimate workouts and practices. Even the preseason games. I'm curious to see when all of this is going to be figured out. I'm pretty sure the Minnesota Vikings said they're going to announce their starting quarterback very early in training camp. I think it's Minnesota that's doing that. We obviously have the competition in Cleveland. I feel like there are a couple of other quarterback battles out there. But for the life of me, I can't think of them right now. Oh wait, there's the one with Michael Penix and Tua in Miami. That's the other one I was missing. It's just interesting to see the different conversations for each quarterback competition. But for the Cleveland Browns, I still think this story needs more time to bake. We need more time to get a sense of what direction the organization is actually going in. And that conversation is completely different from Shedeur's popularity, his father, or where he was drafted. Those things are no longer interesting to me. I barely thought they were that interesting to begin with. I'm a guy who just wants to talk ball. I love the narratives, for sure. I want to discuss what they mean. But constantly rehashing someone's fame or their famous father just doesn't land for me. I don't care who his dad is. I'm interested in what he can do on the field. So, those are my thoughts. I'd genuinely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Shedeur Sanders? Do you think his growth has been phenomenal? Do you think he'll end up starting in Cleveland? And how do you feel about the conversations that have been happening, the Shedeur versus Deshaun dynamic? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I read every single comment, whether you agree or disagree with me. Either way, let's get some discussions going. Let's have some respectful debates, and ultimately, let's just have some fun with it. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you be a part of it. I want to build something that we all feel connected to, something we're excited to be part of. We're well on our way to doing that. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.